Hey guys, so today I have two very special guests on the channel, and we're going to be discussing the season finale of My Hero Academia Season 4, as well as whether the entire season as a whole lived up to what we were expecting. Now, if you're subscribed to me, then you probably already know who these guys are, but on the channel we have Truth Hero and Zhoniin. So, how are you doing, guys?
What's up?
Fantastic. I hope everyone is okay during this quarantine. So we've decided to come together, give it that extra premium content.
Yeah, stay inside
Exactly.
and watch YouTube.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I mean, I guess we should start with like the Pro Hero arc. So obviously I know you guys have already seen like the episode yesterday. I saw some people on Twitter saying that this to them was the best episode of My Hero Academia they've ever seen. Now that's not my personal opinion, but what do you guys think? Is this the best episode of My Hero Academia that has ever existed?
I
I
don't know
was
about that.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Um, I think the best episode we had was the one where like Ares jumping into Deku's arms. I think that was, or at
Oh
least
yeah.
the best of season 4. Um, but it was a good episode. I'm trying to think of if it was even condensed a little bit because in the manga that fight felt way longer. It felt like 4 chapters at least,
It
and they
was. I think it
usually
was like 5 chapters, right? It was
yeah, and they usually do, unless there's some huge Deku monologue, like 4 chapters in an episode. So I get how they fit it in. Um, but I'd say the ending was more weird than anything. Like they ended with,
What you mean like the post credits?
yeah, it was just the advertisement for season 5. But it's kind of weird because season 5 is gonna start maybe with Endeavour being like interviewed or something, and then shows up. So
Oh wait, are we doing spoilers in this?
Mm, I mean, I guess we are now.
All
Yeah.
right.
okay, my
It's
bad.
been said.
My bad, but yeah. So I kind of felt weird about how it ended. I just felt a little compressed.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, to be honest, when I was watching it, it didn't feel compressed. But if you had told me we're gonna do the entire Pro Hero arc in these 2 episodes, I would have been like, no, there's no way. Like, you're not gonna do the whole thing because the Pro Hero arc is what, like 10 chapters, I think. Is that right? Like around 10 chapters or more than that. So yeah, it didn't feel condensed to me, but I don't know. Like if you looked at it on paper, you'd be like, oh, that they probably rushed it, but it didn't feel like that to me, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I was
But
actually thinking that. The original question that we had here, like, is this the best episode? I was thinking that as I was watching this, I was like, is this the best episode? This is incredible. And then I was like, man, it's pretty darn good. But my favorite episode is I forget the exact number of it. Season 3, maybe episode 12 or something like that. The United States to Smash episode. That can't be
oh,
Trump to me yet. I mean, it will eventually, but
Oh, All Might versus All for One.
yeah. I mean the conclusion.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Incredible to this day. I mean, I always get chills watching that, or whether I'm reading it, it's like the all might. He has his fist raised. Come on, man, come on.
You know what? That actually might be my favorite as well because that was the episode. I remember when Gran Torino he was like giving that little speech like just after I think All Might beat All for One, and I remember like the first time I watched that I got like serious goosebumps at that speech that Gran Torino was giving. But one question I actually had for you guys: Do you? I know we've been watching it in sub because the dub is delayed, but do you guys normally watch the dub or do you always watch the sub or both? How does it work for you guys?
I love the dub. Big fan
I
of dub in general.
I've only really seen the sub, except for like the first season I watched in dub before I really like found other websites. But yeah.
It kind of
Okay,
annoys
cool.
me that dub gets such like a negative connotation to it. And it's like, all right, first of all, you don't have to gatekeep anyone because you prefer the sub over the dub. If you have that
Yeah.
opinion, that's fine. All good, but don't, try to gatekeep us. Don't try to prove that you're like this grandiose purist. It's like, dude, I get that the dub has a bad name because of 4 kids and all of that stuff, but that was like over
Yeah.
10 years ago. Times have changed. We have a whole new generation of talent that actually want to do it for the art and they're not just collecting a paycheck. So we get fantastic performances like My Hero, namely, I think one of the best continued like battle anime dubs currently right now. This is going to be a little controversial. I'll say that I think the My Hero dub is just as good as the sub.
Oh, okay.
Ooh,
Okay.
hot take. No,
Mhm.
I
That is
mean,
controversial.
It's burning my hands. I can't even hold this take.
Yeah, I've never really like hated on sub versus dub. I just kind of prefer the sub because it's in its native language. I always think that makes it sound better. I don't know.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah, and
always gonna
truth,
get a loss in translation, but
yeah. Do you know a bit of Japanese? Because I remember on Twitter you were saying like you were learning or something.
I don't. I mean, just from watching anime, but I'm learning Korean.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Smart man.
Yeah, very, very. I mean, this is the perfect time to do it, right? We're at home, literally, like you can barely go outside. So this is a good time. But yeah, for me personally though, like I am more of a sub guy because like when I was growing up watching anime, like on the TV, it was only sub. I mean, sorry, dub. They
hmm
wouldn't play like the Japanese versions. It would always be like the English version. So that's generally what I preferred. And I find for My Hero specifically, like the dub actors are just most of them are perfect for their characters. Especially like I was thinking Endeavour and Fat Gum and characters like that. Like it just fits the way the character looks so well. So these last few weeks, when there's been no dub whatsoever, I don't mind the sub actually. I quite like it, but my preference is personally dub. But moving on. So in terms of there are certain things in the Pro Hero arc that were surprising to me. So the first one was the voice of the high end. I don't know what you guys thought about this, but it was almost like I mean, I guess it's inhuman, right? Because it's not a human creature. But I was surprised at the way they sounded. I don't know what I was expecting, but that wasn't it. I don't know about you guys.
I agree with you 100%. That's the first thing I thought of. I was like, okay, I did not expect his voice to sound like that. I don't know. I mean, we all have different experiences when we're reading manga, similar to reading a book. That's why everybody has like a different expectation of what, the adaptation of what the source material is going to be, because we all have our own like personal moment, like our own intimate recreation of the event. And this, I don't know, his voice kind of sounded like it'd be more high pitched to me and maybe a little quicker talking. But his
Hmm.
voice, it came out sounding like some kind of like I don't know, hentai devil or something like that. I don't.
I I was gonna say it sounds like that devil side, like voice effect, like "Oh, you are possessed." And I don't know. I always just thought it would sound kind of like some creepy or insane villain, just with a memorable voice, like Shigaraki's, but obviously not, better than his.
Hmm.
But I mean, I get it. Like it's a weird creature, so who knows? I mean, you could have had him sound like that thing in Harry Potter, like the snake. So, it.
Yeah. No, I get that. In terms of, I mean, truth, you mentioned it earlier, but after the end credits, we got that foreshadow for season 5 with Deku and like the vestiges and everything. I
Yeah.
mean, that took me out by surprise. I genuinely wasn't expecting that. But in terms of how season 5 is now going to pick off, so I guess we won't talk too much on spoilers just for people watching who aren't into all that. But in terms of when season 5 is going to pick off, do you think it's going to be like we're going to go on that and then we're going to flash back to where Endeavor? Do you think it's going to be like a flashback, or are we just going to pick up straight where Endeavor left off?
Um, I'm trying to remember how season 4 started
Well, season
because
4 started with that filler episode, with the
right.
They all kind of.
you
Well, I
remember?
think season 2, right? They've started with filler episodes, so it's kind of like a tradition now. So I guess that's how season 5 will start as well.
Yeah, I guess the thing about the season 4 one though, it wasn't a straight recap. Like I'm sure you guys have seen it, but like it was almost like its own contained story. And I feel like for season 5, just because of the cliffhanger of Endeavor defeating this high end, and then the other cliffhanger of Deku with these vestiges, there's no real way you can have a original, anime original story. Like it would take me out of it. I'd be like, there's two things that we have to wrap up: Endeavor and Deku and the vestiges. So why are we having a filler episode to begin with?
Yeah, I mean,
I
it's
don't know.
possible they might do like a half and half where Deku is just talking about Hero Society and then it slowly transitions into the number one hero and then you see him sort of after the fight and then, what happens next in the manga transpires.
I honestly think that was just a teaser, especially because it happens after the credits. And I know that they, have a recurring thing
Yeah.
throughout the seasons where they do after credits things. But I think that this is kind of just like a little teaser preview that's like, hey, look, we're gonna get more into the vestiges. But I think once
Mhm.
season 5 starts, then it'll just pick up with like, Hawks consoling Endeavor, them getting reacquainted and everything, and then shows up and all that stuff. I mean, I just think that's probably gonna, and then it'll just play out accordingly. Like when we get to the vestige stuff episode, then that will play out. I'd be surprised if they kind of try to do this flip flop thing, unless it's to account for time crunching, which seems to be like a priority of theirs nowadays. Interestingly enough, how we were talking about how they're, cramming all of all these chapters into 2 episodes, which was unexpected because
Mhm.
I don't know, a majority of the fan base just thought that the pro hero arc was going to happen at the beginning of season 5. But another thing
Yes.
before I get like too scatterbrained here, uh, Turtle, I guarantee
Yep.
that when we saw the vestiges for the first time, you were definitely scoping out what colors the first 2 were.
Oh yeah. I mean, we saw it in the Heroes Rising movie, right? So like I was looking for it then. And obviously the second vestige was like red. And I think the third one was like purple, right? Oh,
It looked like
I
to me
think it was
like the
purple.
first one and the second one, where I mean, whoever's here has seen your video, right? So can we just like,
Yeah.
okay, so Bakugo looked red and Kirishima looked purple. That's the
That's
way that
good.
it looked like to me.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, with the Kirishima being purple, that kind of indicates maybe that it might not be him, which might be, I mean, it's probably the case to be honest, but because Kirishima, if he is a vestige, he would likely be red, I would assume, Red Riot and everything. So I'm kind of thinking that might not be him. But in terms of Bakugo, I mean, nothing yet has deviated me from that, that train of thought. But maybe if we get new evidence soon, then I'll think of something else. But right now, yeah, everything I'm seeing is saying Bakugo second user. But I don't think I've ever asked you guys like, what is your like proper opinion on that? Like, do you think it's plausible? The whole airy time travel thing, or no?
No. I mean, you already knew
Fair enough.
that. You already
Fair
knew
enough.
that. No, I mean, it's a
Yeah,
fair
yeah.
theory. Like, I just don't. Well, I mean, I just don't think it would go like that, just from a story perspective. But also, I just don't know. I mean, unless we get some new evidence of how Ares' quirk works, and we do get a little more evidence later on in the manga, but that has nothing to suggest that she can actually rewind time. So, I
Yeah.
mean, I'm still a holdout on
It's
that.
it's baby steps, man, baby steps. Because I caught up with vigilantes recently,
Oh, I
and
have to
like
do that.
yeah. So there's a certain character in vigilantes whose quirk at the start seems like one thing, and by the when you're fully up to date, it's like completely different. So
Okay.
vigilantes to me, it just showed me how much a quirk can change from what we initially think. I think is a good example of that. But
Well, I
yeah,
mean, we've even had that in My Hero Academia. I'm not going to spoil anything, but from the My Hero My Villain Academia arc, we know that quirks can be very different.
yeah, that's true as well. If I'm not even gonna say it, I was gonna say.
Who was it? Whose quirk becomes more? All right, but
Gang Orca.
my thoughts on this theory is that yes, I mean, come on, Bakugo and Kirishima, that's definitely them in the vestige. I mean, if that's not them, then what the hell is going on? It looks exactly like them, like in the shadows. So there's something going on here. As for Ares' time travel vehicle, I think it's plausible. Now, am I saying it's guaranteed to happen? No. But I think there's a really good chance that it could be something like that because obviously we know that Aizawa. All right, well, I'm getting into spoiler stuff, but you know what Aizawa has done in the recent stuff. I think that might be leading to that possibly happening because there has to be
Mm.
obviously a connection for them to become the first and second users.
Yeah, yeah. Or it's possible there's maybe a quirk user that we haven't seen yet. Because I mean, Night Eye was introduced in season 4, and obviously he can see into the future. So I mean, I kind of spoke about this on Twitter already, but Night Eye, in a sense, he altered the future by seeing into the future because by using the future to affect your decisions in the present day, that then creates a new reality essentially. So that's one way that Night Eye has manipulated time. So
But
it's
didn't
very plausible that.
didn't it
Go on.
say that no matter what he did, he couldn't change the future?
No, so he believed that was the case. That's
Oh,
what he
okay.
thought,
And
based on everything that had.
only Deku altered it.
Exactly, yeah. So once Deku altered it, that proved to Night Eye, like when he died, he kind of accepted that the future could be changed.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, his belief up until that point was that yeah, it couldn't be changed. But yeah, so there could be a user in the future potentially who may just straight up have time travel, not even not even any strings attached with that. But I guess that's a discussion for another time. So getting back to season 4, in terms of like you guys highlights and lowlights. So we may as well start with the highlights. So for me personally, one of the things that I was most anticipating for the season, and I think to most people this is probably a really small moment as it only took a few seconds, but Overhaul when he exploded Magna in like I think the second episode, Like that was something that I had been so hyped just to see, and when I eventually saw it animated, like they did it so well. They did it so well, and so bloody as well.
The
Because I
skin
think a lot of
bubbled.
the what?
The skin on Magna's arm bubbled. It was perfect.
Oh man, yeah.
Yeah, it's
Honestly,
like
they did
getting
that
And they
so
microwaved.
so
showed it.
well.
They showed it in the black and white too, which was nice. It looked like the manga panel coming to life.
Yeah, I think they may have done it better than the manga. I think they may have done it better because the way as Magna was like drawing Overhaul closer to her, and then you see Overhaul like slowly taking off his glove. Oh man, everything about it was epic. But I had a few other moments which we'll maybe get to in a bit. But off the top of your head, what is both of you like? What is one thing out of the season that just stood out to you?
Oh, I mean, come on. We're all thinking it. The 100% beatdown. I mean, like the way that the anime took liberties with it was well done. Also, let me just say that I think the anime is better than the manga for My Hero. Not saying the manga is not bad. It's obviously fantastic, one of the best in the game right now. But I've always thought the anime has done it better because they've adapted things better. They've shed more light on things that maybe needed more light shed on them, definitely, especially with this Endeavour fight recently. We got at least when he was like tangling with Hawks, we got to get a better understanding of how that went down. But the 100% beatdown of Overhaul, incredible. And like the additions that I was saying, like how the fight kind of gets extended, because in the manga it's real short. It's kind of like what, 1.5 pages.
Mm.
It's just Izuku goes 100, beats him down, and that's it. But in the anime they kind of
Yeah.
extended a little bit. We have that moment where like Overhaul comes together and he has like the big hands and the big arms
Yeah.
moment. And then the whole thing with Eri's hair, all spread out behind Izuku when the shadow takes over them and you just see his eyes and the hair behind him. That is like incredible the way they made that in the anime. So yeah, that's my favorite moment aside from what happened in episode 25.
Yeah, that moment, it looked like Deku was tapping into the dark side
Hmm.
to defeat Chisaki, and I'm sure Horikoshi loves that. I mean, the other episode too was when it was more, just how they used the music in the anime. When Aries jumping into Deku's arms,
Yeah.
and he's just not giving up like he always does. So
Was that your highlight for like the season?
yeah, that and Deku's 100% fight.
Yeah, man. I mean, in terms of like the low lights now, so you guys know I'm a massive Mirio fan. You guys know that. And the Mirio fight was actually pretty good up until the quote unquote slideshow that we all saw. Now that was a bit jarring for me, especially as later on in the season we see, Deku, how amazingly animated that was when, he was beating down Overhaul. And then obviously the episode the other day with Endeavour. What did you guys think of that whole, a bit of the inconsistency in the season?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. And I think maybe that's what they wanted for that scene. I was going to say something like, okay, maybe we could chalk this up to like budget constraints because not every episode could be a banger. Not even every other episode could be a banger. They kind of have to, not spread themselves too thin. And that might have been an example of this. But I think maybe that's what they wanted. They wanted to keep it concise, maybe a little ambiguous, because that's kind of how it plays out in the manga. Because it's kind of just like a narration. It's like, and then Mirio fought for, I don't know, however long, 10, 15 minutes or something with no quirk, and he
Yeah.
was still winning. So maybe it just wanted to like just get that point across and maybe not show too much, but rather just tell you. But I agree with your initial thought there. It could have definitely been done better, but I don't know. Maybe it was just a little confusing to the general people watching it if it wasn't like on a grand scale the way that everything else was.
Yeah, it was a bit inconsistent in terms of animation quality, but I mean, I guess that final episode, I mean, people are literally, like I said, saying it's the best episode they've ever seen. So
I mean, it was trending, right? So
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
really?
worldwide.
With what?
Endeavor.
In
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Endeavor.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder how all those true fans feel now. You know what I'm saying?
Or the what fans?
The true My Hero Academia fans, the ones that
Oh,
send Horikoshi death threats.
right.
Yeah.
Not us. We're not true fans,
No.
but
Yeah.
yeah, I do wonder about that. Come season 5, how they'll react to everything. I thought it was good. All Might was great. He looked very
Yeah.
stressed.
All Might was like whenever a dude sees another guy get kicked in the nuts, and they're like,
Yeah.
"Ah."
Perfect analogy.
man.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, All Might was feeling for him though.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
In the manga, they have that final panel of Endeavour with his wings doing prominence burn into the Nomu's mouth. They captured that perfectly.
Oh yeah, for sure. I feel like they went above and beyond for certain parts. So the bit when he's actually taking high end up into the sky, basically, in I couldn't remember the manga panel exactly, but in the anime, it was almost like he was going close to space. Like he was super high up, and I don't know, it felt way higher than what I remember it being from the manga. Definitely, I don't know if you guys maybe thought that.
Yeah, I think that's a liberty that they took with that, just to make it a little more grandiose.
Yeah, yeah, I liked it. I quite
Oh, it
liked
was
it.
He was
awesome.
gonna do some One Punch Man stuff. Just
Yeah.
take that Nomu to the moon.
I mean, they already were like kind of creeping into One Punch territory with the fists that Deku was doing at the end of the overhaul fight.
Oh
Oh
yeah,
man, I
yeah,
love
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I was actually not expecting that at all, but I loved it.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah. So in terms of like other highlights for season 4, so for me personally, I mean, I already mentioned like the overhaul thing. But in terms of like the infinite 100% battle, which you mentioned, Zonin, that bit when you like they zoomed in on Overhaul's eye, do you guys remember that bit? Like
Yep,
when
Oh
they
I
yeah,
zoomed in?
tweeted it.
you like see his pupils, sclera, you see everything.
Yeah, that was really awesome. I've never seen that kind of detail. I don't think I've ever seen that kind of detail in this before.
That's usually reserved for like movies and stuff.
Yeah, it was kind of like movie level quality, like that fight. When especially when he like, how do I describe it? Like he was getting the impact from Deku's punches like late. I don't know if you guys know what I mean. Like it was almost like Deku punched him,
Yo,
and
yeah,
Right.
then you can see his
it's the aftershock. It's kind of, I
exactly
guess
that's it.
it's to imply like he's moving so fast that like not even the viewers can comprehend it.
Or he's using Air Force. Uh-oh.
Oh, spoilers.
I like I like the overhaul eye part because in that moment, overhaul, there's only one thing. He's like, "Oh, I messed up." You can see it in his eye. You know,
Yeah,
it's not as
yeah.
funny, but he's definitely like crapping his pants.
Oh, for sure, for sure. And you know, you just reminded me of something. So the whole cultural festival arc. Now, I think people who subscribe to me they know this already, but that is not one of my favorite arcs in the series. Though I appreciate like its place because it is quite important in terms of Eri. So when I was watching that whole arc, like I wasn't really too into it, but I wanted to get your guys' opinion on it. So like, what did you think of the cultural festival? How was it done? Did it live up to your expectations or no?
I think it's a nice reprieve from the whole overhaul drama. But yeah, it's never been one of my favorite arcs. I think they handled Gentle and Labrava fine. I like them. I like how they did their characters, and they also, I feel like they did more with the Gentle versus Deku fight, but I'm not sure. I can't really remember it from the manga, but it definitely looked good animated. But I mean, in terms of like highlights from it, I mean, there's Jiro singing and Aries smile. So
Yeah, Eri Smile is the number one highlight of the season. But Zonin, what did you think of like the cultural festival?
So I mean I echo your sentiments, Turtle, on this completely. I'm not the biggest fan of this arc, but I understand its significance. I also understand the demographic that it caters to. Me, I'm just a bread and butter battle manga dude. Like that's it for me. I'm meat and potatoes when it comes to this game. I'm not really into the slice of life stuff. I don't watch anime for like the drama or the romance and all that stuff. And you know what? To each his own. If you do, that's fine. I appreciate some of that stuff, like Kaguya-sama. I think that's a fun little anime. But aside from that, I'm just like into like the interesting adventures, the stories, the scaling, all of that stuff. So when we come to the the hero festival stuff or the student festival, it's like that's fine. I get that not everyone is like me in this fandom, especially for My Hero, since it is one of those different type of battle mangas. It does have elements of slice of life more so than the other series. So I get that he also has to cater to those fans, and that's fine. I know that everybody enjoyed it. I saw it had a great reception on Twitter. And also something about, I don't know how true this is. I never really looked into it, but I've heard it a lot. Horikoshi was like going through some kind of depression while writing the overhaul arc or something, or it caused him to be a little depressed. So, in order to like pull himself out of that, he purposely made the student festival to like, I don't know, uplift things, possibly.
wow,
Interesting. I've never heard that before.
Have you heard that truth?
I haven't. I know he's had to take breaks because of stress and depression. I know when he originally was I guess drawing things, he got really frustrated because he drew this great villain Shigaraki that has 10 hands on him at all times, and he was not good at drawing hands. So unfortunately,
Oh
he kind of
man.
backed himself into a corner there, but he's gotten better now, actually. And that's why, like, you'll see in the beginning of all his chapters, he does those like hands inside like a hand.
Oh yeah.
I don't know
Yeah,
if you
that's
see
like
that.
his
Like, that's
avatar.
why. That's
Yeah.
what. Yeah. So he always wanted to be better at drawing hands.
Oh, that's
So
Interesting.
really interesting.
yeah, but I mean, I know he was frustrated from that, and of course, what the true fans tell him all the time. So
The real ones.
Okay, guys. Well, before we round out the video, I just wanted to ask you, how are you dealing with like the situation going on in the world? Like, I'm not gonna say it, but we all know what's happening. I'm in a bit of a lockdown at the moment. So, how are you guys finding it?
I mean, I'm so bored not, having access to a gym and just trying to stay inside. I mean, I can make videos, but obviously, YouTube creators have our own problems with this. Everyone has their own problems with this. I'm doing okay. I'm healthy. I'm fine. So that's all that matters. But yeah, I'm getting a little stir crazy.
Man, it's such a difficult time just for everyone. Like we're all literally experiencing this together, which is the unique thing about it. Because usually, like when tragedies or just things like this happen, it only affect like one group or two groups or something. But it's like
Yeah.
everyone. This is life now. This is going to be life for the next month, 2 months, maybe. So, man, it's just gotta stay safe, guys. Wash your hands. Don't touch your face, and if you have a mask, wear it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if masks work, but I mean, I was in between jobs and like trying to figure stuff out, and I'm like, well, I'll just do YouTube in between, and now this happens. So it's been a weird ride for me because I'm just, I can't really apply for things. But I guess I'll keep making videos and keep washing my hands.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. I I think that's kind of what like people are expecting now. Like now that everyone's at home, it's like people expect content creators to probably push out more stuff. I mean, I know I was expecting myself to be doing more videos, but the place where I work, like we still work from home and stuff. So even during the week, I don't actually get I thought I had like so much more time to make videos, but in reality, it's actually pretty much the same. Which is annoying. Which is annoying because I do want to make more videos. But yeah, I mean, okay, guys. Well, thank you so much for coming here on the channel today. I really appreciate it. Maybe we can do a collab again in the future, talking about season 5 or something, if that interests you. But yeah, thank you guys for coming.
Absolutely.
Hey, anytime. I'm happy to be here. Happy to talk about anything with my hero, especially season 5. There's so much that we could talk about with that. And
Hype.
yeah, anytime you want to do this, I'm down. Happy to make the content.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Peace out, guys.
See ya.
Peace.
Stay safe.